All right, hello and welcome to the 14th episode of Two Dudes Different States podcast. I'm
It's
Andrew.
been a couple weeks, Bennett.
It's been 2 weeks, yeah.
We've had some fun times though. You went
Mhm.
on vacation. I went on vacation.
Yeah.
My vacation sounded a lot more fun than. Well, I wouldn't say mine was a lot more fun. I'm just it. Yours started out not so bad or
Mm.
not too good,
Not
huh?
great. Mhm.
Not great. Mine was pretty good the entire time. I just golfed and it was pretty freaking awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah. From what you've told me, the beginning of yours sounded like an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, and I'll elaborate, but I think you wanted to talk first about your thing, right?
Oh yes. I finished a show last night.
Mhm.
A show that I didn't think anything about. I just started watching it because I needed something else to watch, and
Mhm.
it looked interesting. Saw it on Facebook, and I'm an emotional wreck because of it.
So when did you start this show and what's the
I
name of it?
started it maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Wow, that was fast.
I flew through this thing.
Yeah. I'm
I
just at
There's
the end
six
of it
seasons
now.
of it. There's 6 seasons. The seventh season is hopefully coming out in 2021,
Mhm.
from what I've seen. And it's based off a book. It's the book is based off, or the show is based off the book with the same title,
Yeah.
and it's younger.
Mhm.
It's about this 40-something-year-old woman
Mhm.
who ends up getting a divorce from her husband, and her daughter's off to college, and she has no idea what to do with herself. So she reinvents herself, and her friend suggests that she disguise herself as a 20-something-year-old to land a job, because no one wants to hire a 40-plus-year-old woman for a
That's just
job anymore.
ageist.
Yes, and that's one of the biggest premise on the show
Mhm.
is no one will hire her because she's 40 something, so she has to lie, and this causes a huge problem. And it's yeah, that's the big point. But no, I finished the show last night, and it was a roller coaster for me. I wasn't expecting to get so deeply emotionally involved in this show that it's resorted to the point where I'm legit about to go to the library this week and see if they have the book
Wow.
on the shelf. Yes. I don't do that, and it's like, I could be there's movies or shows I'm like, wow, this is just a really good show, It's like,
Mhm.
it's good. This show has, like, I'm an emotional wreck because of this show. I like
Wow.
it. I love this show.
Yeah.
Like, it's I binge watched it, in two
Mhm.
weeks.
Right.
Went through like 20 episodes or something like that.
Mhm.
And this entire time, I just want to follow up by saying, I'm Team Josh all the way. And I
Okay.
did something that I've never done before.
Mhm.
I was actually talking to my television, saying, "No, how could you do this? Like, don't pick him, pick the other guy." And
Very
I
invested.
have no idea, like why it's like doing this to me. Like, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
It's a brand new concept for me, and there there's such things as chick shows and dude shows and all that type of stuff, and
Mhm.
this is one of those shows where I'm like, this is a legit chick show.
Yeah.
This is a chick show that I am wholeheartedly and emotionally invested in, and I need more seasons. It's something that like the like the season finale, or like the season finale that I watched last night. I was
Mhm.
about to cry.
Oh.
Yes, because of what happened, and I I can't handle it.
No, you
Like,
got
I
this, man.
it's you know I she I don't even know how to translate my thoughts into words right now, Bennett, because of how this show has messed with me.
Wow. I'm sorry that's happened to you,
Mhm.
but
It's not
you're
necessarily a
enjoyable.
bad thing,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
it's there could be shows that do that for people, there could be shows that don't do that for people, but
Mhm.
like, for me, this is a whole brand new experience for me.
Right.
Like, I have no idea how to cope with this.
So you and I are roughly the same age, um, and grew up with Hilary Duff on the Disney Channel. Was that a
Hmm.
weird transition for you?
Not at all.
No,
Not at all.
just smooth.
Like, well,
Didn't even
personally,
notice.
like, I never really watched the Hillary Duff show or the Lizzie McGuire show. I think
Yeah,
that's what it was called.
right,
Never really like watched a whole lot of it, but I knew what it was.
right.
I mean, yeah, she's so hot now. Like, she is really hot. And but like, like I said, I like this show has gotten me to the point where I'm legit about to go to the library this week and get the book. And
Wow.
I haven't been to a library in like 2 years.
Are libraries even open?
They do curbside pickup.
Oh, how convenient.
At least the one by my house does. So
Mm-hmm.
I need to call them and see if they have the book or not. If not, I'll
You
just rent it. I'll just buy it on
have
Amazon
to
or
show
something
them your
like that.
library card when you go to pick it up.
I have one, dude. I have one. Don't worry. I got one for when I was at Oakland.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So I did that.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing is, dude, the main character in the show, her name is Sutton Foster,
Okay.
and I now love that name. I love Sutton.
Have you not heard of that name before?
I've never heard of that name.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't think I
I
have
had a
either.
buddy in grade school that had the last name Sutton,
Mm.
but
Yeah, that's
the first name is just it's really clicking with me.
yeah, that's like one of those very rare two name last names
Mhm.
versus like the whole two first names.
Yeah, like with me,
Yeah,
Zachary
Zach
Thomas.
Thomas. Yeah,
But
can't trust you.
um
Oh, I think we might have lost Zach for a second there, but it's all right. I'll fill the space. Um, so coming up in a couple seconds, I'm sure with whatever Zach may have to close out talking about this show, younger. Uh, I'll give a quick brief synopsis of what I think. Uh, I think the show is mostly about, which is just the life of a woman in either Chicago or New York. I think the episodes I've seen, my wife and I debated whether or not it was in that city or not, and it's I don't know. I don't know if she ever finished the show. She did, as she nods to me. But I don't think she finished it in 2 weeks like Zach did. Um, and it's pretty impressive that he's willing to go as far as wanting to now rent the book. Um, go to the library and rent the book. So good for him because he's reading and I'm not. Um, Got to find ways to entertain ourselves. The thing is that all the people who do want to entertain us during this time are just producing so much entertainment, and it's like Netflix never took a break. Like it just kept pushing stuff out. Same with most TV shows. I feel like just finished out their seasons, and then it seems like everything's gonna pick back up pretty quickly in the next couple of weeks. Like nothing happened almost. You back,
I'm
Zach?
back.
Okay, cool.
I'm
Yeah.
back. I'm sorry about that.
No, no worries.
But no, I mean it's from what I just heard, like TV shows, they stopped and now they're picking back up again, acting like
Yeah.
nothing even happened, and I mean,
I was just talking about
that,
how like you're going out to read a book about the show you were just watching, and I don't think I've ever done that. And there's very few books I would say I've read as an adult that you know, especially even as a kid. Like I think most books I read were just school required books,
hmm
and I was just saying how impressed I am. That's all.
I've never been a reader. Like, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
Like, I read the Harry Potter books,
Mhm.
and even then, I think I only read the first two, and then I read the last one.
Yeah.
But they're the Lightning Thief,
Yeah, you
those
love those,
books.
Percy Jackson.
Oh, I love those. I read all of them. I think I read the sixth book at least 4 times. Um, yeah, and there was one book that I've read just out of just because I needed to read a book, and I can't even remember the name of it. It was like a it was like when I was like 15 or something like that. I needed like something for school,
Mhm.
and I just like it was a book. It was a young adult book,
Yeah.
and it was it was it was good, you know.
Yeah.
Now, you know, really don't find a lot of like books out there that I want to read. Everyone's like, dude, you got to read this book by this senator or something like that. I was like, I don't.
No.
That doesn't sound.
Sounds like I'm just giving them money.
Yeah, like I don't. I'm not interested in memoirs.
Mhm.
That's like if that makes sense. I'm not interested in learning about someone. Like someone famous life. That's not what I like reading. I'm more
Mhm.
fiction and
Yeah. And I
and
think I think today, especially in 2020, it's that kind of stuff gets drowned out because not only is there so much, like so many books that exist and they're constantly being written and produced. And I'll get into a second a book that I saw when my parents visited me here in DC. Um, but just there's so many books and it's so much more time and concentration you have to put into that versus something like even in the same area of like maybe it's a comic book but that has pictures and less dialogue and
hmm
you don't have to picture as much yourself and then the TV and movies and now even further down that line of like Instagram and TikTok and it's like there's so much easier content to just push down in, or like get your brain
hmm
than to just sit and read
because
and that other
yeah.
stuff is always trying to get your attention so it's much harder to pull away.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back like 20 years ago, or even that, like a lot of the time, like one of the biggest activities to do was reading the
Right.
newspaper,
Yeah.
reading, just a regular book.
Hmm.
Now you can get audiobooks, you can get, you can just read synopsis on books and stuff. There weren't like you couldn't just like look up the book online and just figure out what it was. And
Right.
now it's kind of hard for young people to actually like, go about doing that is actually just picking up a book and being like, oh, this seems interesting, and reading it.
Hmm.
And I don't know about you, but I'm one of the biggest culprits of that. Like I don't like just finding it, just hey, I'll go to the library, see if I like a book. That's
Hmm.
not who I am. Like I'm like I said, I never liked reading. Like I just found, unless it was an actual like book that
Right.
caught my eye.
Hmm.
And for me now with this show, it's like I watched all 6 seasons, and now I'm like, oh my god, I have to read this book.
Yeah, I had a quick question for you about the show. What city does it take place in?
New York,
Oh, it is New York? Okay.
yes, and believe it or not, the premise of the show is this the main character is getting a job at a publishing company.
Yeah, for books.
Yeah, for books. And I don't know if that has some correlation with it or not, but like I, I don't know, man. Like it's
Yeah.
these past couple days have just been like thinking about it just nonstop.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
can't blame you. When you get into something, it's hard to break out of it.
mhm.
All right. Guess we can move on to the next thing if you're ready. You got
Are you
anything?
ready to talk about your vacation?
Yeah, I'll talk about my vacation.
Strap in, folks.
Yeah, deep inside the personal, well, whatever. I don't know where I was going with that. So I recently took a trip to Newport, Rhode Island. Um, Beautiful town. Right on the water. Did some sailing.
Ooh,
Uh,
really? I didn't know you did some sailing. Did
well,
you like it?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was like a tour sailing kind of thing, but
Oh.
I can't sail myself, and I would have no idea how to get a boat. Um,
I want a boat.
Find the boatman and ask him.
The boat genie brings it.
Uh-huh. But yeah, they had a lot of cool stores and places to visit, mansions, so many mansions. It's crazy. Um, they have beaches. They have this thing called the cliff walk where you just walk along a cliff. It's like 3 miles long, and you just look out over the jagged rocks onto the, I guess the ocean. I don't think it's a lake or anything there,
Your
but
impending death.
yeah, pretty much. Um, but it wasn't all that fun stuff until about 24 hours after arriving, um, where we arrived on a Thursday night, and that earlier that day we dropped our two dogs off at two different places for people to watch while we're out of town on vacation. And we dropped off our youngest one, who's about 6 months old, off with a friend, two friends that we went to college with, that Zack knows, who will remain nameless. Um, and they also had a 6 month old puppy. And of course, we didn't really know what was happening, but around 9 p.m., we've already been in Rhode Island for about an hour or two. We were just finishing dinner, pretty late dinner, and just kind of getting excited for the whole weekend. And we get a text from one of the people watching our youngest, and they basically decided that they didn't want to do it anymore. Um, I don't know specifically what was happening. We kind of just know general stuff, like he was barking a lot and he was being, you know, maybe a bit more aggressive and playful with their dog, who was also 6 months old. And
Basically everything that a normal puppy does.
yeah, you know, everything. like, um, and I guess as the night went on, that Thursday night, things maybe have started to escalate. At one point, our dog apparently scratched their dog's eyes, and they wanted to take their dog to the vet, and her dog turned out to be totally fine. And after that happened, our dog just fell asleep. Like it was like 10:30 or something like that at that point, and he just fell asleep, and he was down for the rest of the night. Totally fine. I don't think he had any bathroom problems inside their house, which would be way more of a concern, because he doesn't even really do that here anymore in his own home. So we were kind of happy about that part at least. But we asked the guy who was watching our older dog, who's about 9 years old, um, if he could also watch our young puppy, and he said sure. So the next morning, Saturday, the people watching our young puppy uh, drove about 30-ish minutes over to this guy's place and dropped off our puppy. And apparently, that whole exchange just got completely botched. We have almost no details about what even happened. The only thing we know is that the guy um, somehow um, was just unable to wrangle our puppy. He got out of his harness, which, if you understand how a dog harness works, that seems almost impossible.
Yeah, that that
Um,
mm,
where
mm,
like his legs are literally through loops, and like we had a pretty tight harness on him at the time, so he would have to like really pulled. I'm almost like scared to think he might have even like almost like kind of almost dislocated an arm to get out of it, because it would have had to
mhm.
be something really tough to like get out of doing that. And he was running around the parking lot of the guy's apartment place, and eventually they caught him. And about 30 minutes after that whole thing went down, we get a call from the guy saying he's not willing to watch him anymore. Um, which, you know, he saved us and then immediately turned against us. And that was kind of rough for us that Friday morning. And we were supposed to go on the sailboat at that time. It was about 10:30, and we couldn't anymore. So we had to reschedule for later in the day. So thankfully they had openings later in the day,
Mhm.
because with quarantine, those sailboats were um, half the amount of people they would normally take. So it was really lucky that we were able to still get
Oh
to
yeah.
it. Um, but so that whole morning was just botched, and we spent most of the morning calling people. We called our apartment complex to make sure that they could make a spare key and a spare little fob thing, to like electronic key, to let people into the building, so that they could hand that off to um, a coworker of Allison's who was willing to go pick up our dog from this guy who was no longer willing to watch our puppy, um, and drop our puppy off at our apartment, and just leave the key in the apartment, or actually or like under the mat.
Mhm.
And then we called my wife's mother, or my mother-in-law, I guess I could just say. Um, and she was willing to drive almost 3 hours to our apartment and stay with our dog for God, 4 nights, and during the day as well, and kind of just take care of him. And he was just an absolute angel with her. So we're just not really sure what was happening with that other uh, family that we left him with on Thursday. I think it was just like the other puppy or what, but it just seemed to just be completely crazy and total nonsense. And we've pretty much just made a vow to not talk with them ever again because it almost totally ruined our vacation. And there was a very solid amount of hours where while we were still struggling to get people on the phone and talk with people, we were debating like, do we just drive back on that Friday immediately, like not even getting to do anything we planned or paid for in Rhode Island. Um, yeah, yeah. So
You shouldn't have to worry about these types of things. Like, with
yeah,
especially with people that you've known for a while,
hmm,
who you trust, and who you expect
yeah,
to, come through for you, because, A, they're friends, and B, you know, it's not, you shouldn't have to second guess it.
right,
And for them to do all the things that they did to you that day, having your mother-in-law drive 3.5 hours to come take care of your dog,
hmm,
which, by the way, you owe her a fairly decent Christmas present this
yeah,
year, or birthday present.
yeah. We've been
Um,
doing stuff already.
and your trip too. Like, you guys, you ask these people to take care of your, almost, it's like almost babysitting a child, you
Yeah,
know.
pretty much.
And if they couldn't take care of an animal, how would they have, not saying this is anytime soon or anything, but like, how could you have trusted them with like a child?
Yeah,
Like, say, like, you were to have them, watch your kid for like just a weekend,
hmm,
like 2 days, 3 days, 2 nights. You know,
yeah,
how would you expect to rely on them in the future? You couldn't.
yeah. No, that's pretty
And
much what we just discussed, and we were just like, we just can't
yeah,
be friends with them because like this was kind of just the nail in the coffin of that whole friendship because we've lived near them, so we went to college with them, and then we were kind of just
that was a
all
whole
separate.
mess.
um, and then for about a year we were all kind of living in different states, and then I moved in with my wife here, and then eventually those two moved in kind of 30 minutes away from us, and so we've seen them a couple times and hung out, but when we hang out, it's just like this awkwardness that's in the air. Like they don't really drive the conversation like they used to back in school, and um, it's just there's just sort of like this emptiness in the air, and it, they don't seem to like like it's a little selfish to say, but they don't like typically ask questions about like how our lives are going, and like even when we ask them to watch our puppy, um, it was like maybe a month, probably more than a month in advance of our trip. They didn't ask
Hmm.
why. They didn't ask what we were doing.
Well,
They
I
just agreed
I
to it.
understand. I understand a little bit, with that one. Like,
Mhm.
you know, they're friends. I'm not justifying their actions at all, but like,
Yeah.
just they don't need to know like what you're doing. It would be
Sure.
nice that that
It's
they
just
ask, like, oh,
polite.
where you going, or something like that. But
Mhm.
then again, there are friends that would drop everything and just be like, hey, I'll do this. Don't worry about it, and they won't.
Yeah. That didn't
They
really feel
won't.
like this though.
Oh, of course, because I know who they are, and
Uh-huh.
they don't. They're not
Yeah.
the type of people to
Mhm.
ask questions like that. But
Yeah.
it's it's terrible how it ended. But at the same time, maybe it was just like a blessing in disguise, because you don't need
Yeah.
people like that in your life,
Mhm.
especially now that you're married. Now that you know you have an adult job. You both have adult jobs, you and Allison.
Mhm.
And maybe you just outgrew them.
Yeah.
in a
It's
sense,
our
and
perspective about
they're
it.
still stuck in college relationship even though they're married.
Mhm.
They're just there. They're just two people. They don't
Yeah.
really,
Well.
they don't really belong in your lives.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
me knowing who they are and knowing what happened, it's it's completely understandable that you don't want them apart
Mhm.
anymore, because
Yeah.
that's just a whole different can of worms,
Mhm.
and I think you're a better person for it. And
Yeah. It's in the past now, and
like I said, if you can't rely on them now,
Mhm.
how are you supposed to rely on them in the future?
Yeah. No, I agree. Um. Yeah, but other than that, after all that was dealt with, there was kind of just a big sigh of relief after all that. Like it literally
Mm.
felt like a weight was being lifted off of us, and we got to enjoy the rest of our vacation, and um, got to experience a whole new town and experience what quarantine is like in a different city, which I thought was kind of unique because
Is it a busy city, Newport?
the Newport, yeah, yeah, like the downtown area was
Oh,
pretty
okay.
busy. There's a lot of people on like Saturday. Um, a lot of people walking around on just like one street and no social distancing. Most people are wearing a mask. I'd say like 95% of people were wearing masks. The one time, I think, one significant time I saw somebody not wearing a mask, um, like outside, and it was raining a lot, so I don't know. You can base it off the science you look at. I've based off the fact that I've seen a lot of science that says COVID dies in UV light almost instantly, so you basically don't need to wear one in sunlight. Um, but it was kind of cloudy, so I was like still wearing it, and there's a lot of people, so I just wanted
It's
to like
better to be
I just
safe than
wanted to blend
sorry.
in and not not stand out like this couple did, who was just out walking their dog, and we were crossing a street at a crosswalk at some light, and across like on the other side of the street from us, um, they were like walking past us, and some guy was standing next to them, and I wish I remember the exact way he said it because it was a little silly, but it seemed like almost like he was making a compliment at first, like he was being nice about it. And then he just goes, "How about you think about your fellow human?" or something
Oh,
like that.
it was like a snarky comment.
Yeah, like it was like
He's like, "How about you think about your
it's like,
fellow
"Oh yeah,
human?"
you guys are out for a nice walk, huh? How about you wear a mask? Think about your fellow man." I was like,
Hey,
"Whoa!" I
jackass.
was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, I,
It's like, who are you? Like they clearly didn't know who that guy was, and it was very obvious. Um, But yeah, I think the weirdest part about vacationing during quarantine was um, the whole area like even outside. I don't really know the specific laws that are in Rhode Island right now in regards to it, or mandates, whatever you want to put it, when you're outside or just in general for the public. But a police car, apparently, just like a fully black police car, like you could never tell it was a police car.
mhm.
Um, but it had speakers on it, was just blasting, um, like this is a mandatory mask area. Everybody needs to be wearing a mask, like
Hmm.
over and over and over again. He passed through. It was like about 10 minutes, but apparently we talked to some shop owner about it, and apparently it started like a couple weeks ago, and he's just been every Saturday he just rolls through and does that. I guess because they have to. Maybe somebody's telling them they have to, and they gotta do it. But it was terrifying, and it was like I can't believe this is like the way things are right now.
I have not seen that yet
Yeah,
on
and I think
anything.
it's
There's
I
like the police going around and using the speaker to tell people to be wearing their masks. I've
yeah,
not seen that yet.
but I don't think they have written tickets or arrested anybody like on the basis of not wearing a mask. Um, I think they just
Uh, Dude, I don't even think they can.
I'm sure they
Like,
would find a way
oh
if they
yeah, but
needed
like
to.
I feel like it's just like a citation type of
I don't know.
type of thing. Like, hey, here's a citation for not wearing your mask. I was like, all right, toilet paper for the next day. You know, like it's. though it's a whole political aspect of it, and I've heard people say, "Don't worry, this COVID thing's gonna be over by the time November 3rd happens or
Yeah.
November 4th happens."
I was on the phone with my mom and she's telling me like how she was hearing some theory that like people our age or whatever are like believe that if Joe Biden wins that the COVID's just gonna go away the next day.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
I saw
yes,
that too.
that's an accurate theory that is going around and I kind of believe it.
Yeah,
And
I, I've
she like rolled
I've
her
seen
eyes.
it, and I know people have different feelings of it. I know it's real.
Mhm.
Like, don't get me
Oh
wrong.
yeah, it's a very real thing.
Like it's a real disease or virus, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
You know, I take precautions when I do my job. I take precautions when
Sure.
I'm outside the house.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not gonna get pissed off. I'm not gonna go into a tirade against someone.
Yeah.
Become a Karen
Mhm.
for someone not wearing their mask. Am I gonna be a little
Yeah.
upset? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, come on, dude. We're like, I get it. You don't have to wear it in your car, but you're a foot away from someone in the store, or just don't cough on me. That is all I'm saying. Just don't be doing stupid shit, licking doorknobs, like I've always said. And all I know is that it's gotten to the point where it's become so political that it's just not even worth arguing with people about.
Mhm. All
But
right. We could talk about one last thing and then we could stop. I don't know. Did
you
you read
you
that
probably
article at all?
you probably know I wasn't at home during this,
Okay.
but I know you were,
Mhm.
and I saw some clips. The DC fandom
Oh yeah.
where they released basically every superhero in the DC universe is getting a movie apparently,
Mhm.
and games and all the other stuff.
Right.
And I don't know if I told you this or if you saw this, but
Mhm.
yes, it was yesterday when all this was released, right? All
Yes.
the
Yep.
I saw for 2020 and going into 2021. I remember a while ago, you're like, once Endgame's done with,
Mhm.
superhero, you're gonna need a break from superheroes,
Yeah.
superhero movies and all that, like
Mhm.
games and all that. You're not getting a break anytime soon, bud.
I think this has been a good enough break. Like I
You
think the
think?
world just took a break for me. Um, I mean, realistically, they did. It just changed everything. Um,
Because I've seen what 2021 has in store for us, and
yeah.
it is nuts.
Mhm.
You got Black Adam. You got, basically all the not released Marvel stuff that's coming out. So that's like
Right.
Black Widow.
Mhm.
I don't think they're gonna put that on Disney Plus. I think they're
I
gonna
think they will.
see. You think? Ah, shit. Um,
Yeah.
but you got Black Widow. You got Spider-Man 3. You got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You
Mhm.
got WandaVision, Loki, and now that's just Marvel. DC has movies for Doctor Fate, Cyclone, Suicide Squad,
Mhm.
Batman,
Black Adam with The Rock.
It's like it's nuts. Like
Mhm.
they have so much stuff that they're gonna be pumping in to the media. It's nuts, and
Mhm.
I don't know how they're gonna do it. Like they haven't had success like at all.
Yeah.
The only success that they've had was Wonder Woman, maybe. Suicide Squad flopped. Batman vs Superman didn't do as well as
Mhm.
as it was supposed to.
Well, I think they're
Uh,
turning the corner when it comes to all of it because I think hopefully Snyder Cut comes out first and kind of just resets that momentum for Justice League and then into Batman
I
and
think
then
that
into
comes
every
out
other movie.
early 2021.
Yeah, and I think Batman will be after that. Or no, Wonder Woman would be first.
Wonder Woman was supposed to come out this year.
I think it's still going to.
It's like Black Widow.
Yeah, right.
But you know, I don't know. They have like all these plans for movies,
Mhm.
with Doctor Fate and all that type of stuff. And considering that they haven't had success in a lot of their stuff, I don't see how a lot of these movies are even gonna make it. You know,
Um.
I the only thing I see DC making money off of, like a good portion of their money, is gonna be from video games.
uh, yeah, maybe I don't. Do they sell comics online or
The
toys or
whole
something?
Batman series with the
Mm.
Arkham Knights or whatever. I can't wait to play that.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, Gotham
Because
Knights.
I enjoyed the Arkham Knight, or not the Arkham Knight, the
Yeah.
Batman Arkham series,
Mhm.
and now you got a Suicide Squad movie, which apparently ties directly into the Arkham series.
Mm.
I feel like this is going to be a majority of their sales is the video games.
Um. Yeah, it'll be a show. I have to watch and see what happens because they also have the TV shows, and I'm not sure if those are have begun filming or not. But I think they announced. I don't think it was during DC fandom, but I think it was somewhere else that they announced that they have continued to film. They've begun continuing to film Batman the movie. Um, I think your concern right now is whether or not how they're gonna give release it to the public, whether through theaters or whatever. But theaters are supposed to open. Some theaters are supposed to open 5 days from now.
There have been
With
theaters that have
Tenet.
opened.
Yeah.
I saw there was a movie theater somewhere in the country that was selling movie tickets for
Mhm.
15 cents.
I'd
It
do
was like a
that.
1 day type of thing. It was like social distance movie theaters, and all that type of
Mhm.
stuff. And it's a nice idea, like
Sure.
because it gets people out.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you're in the same room with maybe 20 other people with social distancing
Yeah.
because the theater is only so big.
Mhm.
It's not like you're at a amphitheater or something like that. It's just like maybe like 100-foot room,
Mhm.
and you're gonna probably have to jack up ticket prices because you can't fit people into the movie theater, the same amount of people into the movie theater. So you're gonna have to bump ticket prices up probably,
Right.
and you're probably gonna have to extend hours.
Yeah.
A lot of these theaters are probably gonna have to go close to 24 hours a day that they're open
Mhm. That's
because
definitely true.
you're gonna have to give time for cleaning and have more show times for because you can't fit as many people in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like movie theaters you're gonna be losing movie theaters left and right in the next couple of years. I think.
Mm. I mean, if
I
we
think.
already aren't.
Mm.
All right. Well, let's end on something a bit more lighthearted than the downfall of the movie industry. Um, um, I found an article. Well, other people found it. Called "The Games We Play: 25 Online Games That Women Enjoy." Um, and you read a title like that, and you think, "Oh, this is probably written like 5, 10 years ago, maybe." Um, nope, this was written like last week. Which it's no longer available online, like on the website that provided it. Like the link
hmm
I showed you is actually from an archive through the Wayback Machine. Um,
I read it last night, so I was like a little confused there.
oh, okay.
I was like, wait, they don't have it? Was I reading the wrong article?
Yeah. So it's a really odd list. So it's 25 games that are supposedly more for women, and you read there's like a basically before they even get in the list, there's like a little paragraph about I don't know just statistics and stuff, and you read that entire paragraph, and it's clearly written by somebody who's just doesn't play video games.
hmm
Um, and then you begin to start reading what the games are, and you get to like number three, which is Candy Crush.
I
And
played that. It's a fun
yeah,
game.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
annoying, but it's fun.
I guess I didn't know this, but I guess that's like kind of like considered online as like a woman only game. But according to the statistics on here, only 64% of the players are women. I just hate Bejeweled, so I never liked that game.
Oh, dude, I love Bejeweled.
No, I don't. I
Oh my
never. I
god,
remember the first
I've
time I
played that
played Bejeweled, and I was like, I don't get
forever.
this game. I don't like it.
How? You just got to match three?
Yes, but that's so boring. There's nothing to that.
I'm sorry, it's not a shooter-based game, Bennett.
I would prefer a game. I would prefer number 25 on this list, which is Tetris. Um,
No, that's a
yep,
fun game too.
yeah.
That was one of the first games I ever played
Don't know why that's.
on the old Game Boy,
Mhm. Yeah.
Game Boy Color.
Yeah, but there's just such odd things on here. Like it's just sort of the stereotypical things. Like there's one that's like House Flipper. I don't know if you ever saw any gameplay
Oh,
of
that's
that, but
extremely
Just
misogynistic.
Dance. And then this one, Disney Code Illusion, um, which is basically like Disney created like a program for kids to learn to code. So I don't know why this is targeted for women, when it clearly should be a more kids-oriented thing. Because even though the first sentence of like when they listed as number 21, it says, "Who says coding is just for males?" I was like, why? Why did you write that? Why did you write
See,
any of this?
like I understand, like, a lot of these, this article, not being misogynistic at all. This article was clearly written by a woman,
It was.
and you know
Oops.
it's sad because you want people to enjoy games. Like, the
Mhm.
games aren't just segregated for men,
You're right.
unless it's just like a pure,
It was just a
just.
marketing tool used in like the early 90s
Mhm,
that I think Nintendo actually started.
which is horrible. But
Yeah.
at the time, it was a different time. So,
Yeah.
like,
They've kind of
women
backtracked.
women, weren't fond of video games. It was more of a male activity.
Mhm.
And the one that I knew that was going to be on this list was Overwatch.
Really, that one actually took me by surprise.
Really, because dude, every streamer I've seen, every woman streamer I've seen
Mhm.
has at least played Overwatch once.
Mhm.
And I yeah, there's a pro league for for Overwatch, but women love to play that game. Like, they love the characters.
Yeah, the
Like,
characters
I
are
know,
awesome.
I am Wildcat's girlfriend.
Mhm.
She plays that game.
Wow.
She plays all the characters,
Mhm.
and she's good at it. But the fact that, if you look at the YouTube video that you shared
Mhm.
in our chat, the girl on the left,
Yeah.
she's not a streamer.
No, not at all. That's
She's not a
literally.
gamer. She's a model.
Mhm.
She's a marketing tool.
Okay
No, I'm
there.
serious.
I know. I know. I know.
Uh, she, it's just like for Manscaped. She's the person for Manscaped. She's one of the ambassadors for.
Oh,
It's
is
like
that who
a.
that is?
Yes,
Other
that's
people
Sarah
can't see that
Underwood.
image, but yeah.
She's there for the sex appeal, and that's
Mhm.
kind of upsetting. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know who the girl on the right is.
That's the
Uh,
person making the video.
yeah,
It's Alana.
she looks like what a quote unquote gamer girl looks like.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, you could draw comparisons to her, and then on the male side, you can just think about what a gamer guy. When you think of gamer guy, what do you think of? You think of a guy that's a little bit overweight, has a stubbly beard, and has glasses. That's who you think of a gamer guy.
Mhm.
For me, when I picture gamer girls, I just picture the short hair and kind of just like an all around like nerdy type of girl. That's what I think of.
Yeah.
So by them using Sarah Underwood as their person for their picture,
Mhm.
I don't know.
You know
I'm
her
sure
name?
there's, chicks who look like models who love playing like shooter based games or,
Mhm.
that type of thing. But when I look at Sarah Underwood, that's not who I think she is. She's a model. She does, lewd pictures. That's who I know.
Okay.
And it's from the paragraph that I read on that article, the whole at least 41% of the people playing video games
Mhm.
in the US are female. I was shocked by that. I didn't know there was that many. Almost half the population of the US
Mhm.
play video games
Right.
that are female.
Mhm.
So
Most of them are
I
older
think
women.
it's great. Like, I've never, we joke all the time, "Oh my god, there's a girl in the lobby," or something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot
You
of videos
know,
that are like that.
that's just messing around. Like, I'd
Mhm.
never be like, "Yo, you're a chick. Why are you playing a video game?" What the
Mhm. That
who the hell
that
says
only
that?
ever
Like,
happened
it's
once. When I was playing Call of Duty World at War. I was playing in a zombies lobby, and I was playing with this guy that I met online and had played a bunch of matches with him, and we just got paired up with some random girl online, and um, he was like really accusatory of like, why are you playing this? I was like, whoa.
see, that's just like a weak
But
mindset,
that was also
man.
kind of a while ago. things have changed since then. But
Yeah, but like if you're saying that to a woman,
mhm,
you're a jackass. I'm sorry. You know, like I say, video games aren't segregated just for men.
no,
It's a non-gender bias type of thing. It shouldn't be biased, and
mm-mm.
it should stay, the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could use, sexy models for, advertising, but
Mhm,
at what point you got to start appealing.
mhm,
You got to start appealing to what an actual quote unquote gamer girl is.
right. All right. I think we covered everything that's ever happened in this week, in these past 2 weeks. We did it.
Yay!
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Take it easy.